Hashtag no music, no intro. Sunday night, late night episode of the Saints Block Party podcast. We are live streaming to YouTube, Patreon only. Another prospect of the week episode. Reason why we're doing this is I have a super busy upcoming week. I leave to my grandma won't hear this because I leave to Lubbock on Friday, so we'll do our regular podcast episode Wednesday evening. But other than that, I'm super booked this upcoming week, so we wanted to get this prospect of the week episode out. If you haven't went back and listened or watched our first one on Mikael Williams, please go back and do this. But
please.
We've already just heard, some appreciation from people. Like, members only. This
Members
just
only,
for us.
Just for y'all.
So you early in a relationship, you talking to someone, you get the titty pic at work, and you like, this just for me,
for me,
right? So that we do
like a new one. It's not no pre.
Not a pre-pick. No, like you go to the metadata of the pick, and you're like, this was taken in 2023. Titty's still nice though. Like I'm never one to poo ever. but the new, like it got the new date on it, 2025. Oh,
personalized for me.
Anyway, this is just a way for us to just show appreciation for supporting us. We dropped the Mikael Williams episode. Already got like 5 or 6 new Patreons. I was like, damn, y'all like being in the exclusive. Y'all like this. So we'll keep it going. We will keep it going. The only week it gets a little dicey will probably be Senior Bowl week, because we're gonna be busy as hell. So we might not do one Senior Bowl week, but other than that, we will try to keep it going all throughout draft season. That's a lot. Yep. That's a lot of prospects to talk about. Till
April about some third round.
Oh no, no. And I put the cap at Will Campbell. Will Campbell is the only offensive lineman I will be willing to talk about. Listen, I'm just glad Tetairoa McMillan won the poll of the next prospect of us talking about. So that's why we're talking about him tonight.
Stop the count.
2 weeks, Ryan, on MLK Day. Count will stop. Anyway, I'm excited to talk about him. I got a pep in my step because he's such a interesting prospect to talk about as a player, but I even feel like on a bigger scale, because this is a Saints podcast, he's a more interesting case study of a player to talk about for the Saints specifically. Because so let me hold on before we go into him. Ryan made a nice little let me make sure I do this correctly. So we got like 8 people in the YouTube chat. Guys, I am making my screen huge to share it, so it's seen like that. So I'm not gonna be able to see. I don't think I will. Let me see. Is it still showing full? No, I don't like the way it looks. It looks gross. It's fine. It'll show like that. Yeah, that'll work. So, Tetairoa McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona, 6'5", 212. Again, these are website university measurements. We will know when he goes to the combine of what his actual height, weight metrics are. Ryan put this together in terms of like his stats. At his career at Arizona, freshman year, sophomore, junior season. Last year as a junior, he had 84 catches, 1,319 yards, 15.7 average per catch, 8 touchdowns, 78 yards is his longest touchdown last year. First question. What? first question I asked you is that does he have juice?
Yes, he does have juice.
Does
Not
have
the
juice.
juiciest. I would say he's the juiciest player, but he has juice.
He does have juice. Yes.
No question. Like no question about it. I guess we could start with, the positive, how he wins. How will he win in the NFL? He's to me, he's a smooth route runner.
Yes.
Not an explosive route runner, but like a smooth route runner. Just kind of, you're just one of the type of players that you watch, and it's like, damn, like he's moving, like since he's tall, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't look like he's moving really fast,
Like he
but
glides.
he kind of glides, kind of similar to Olave, totally different type of players, but just the way Olave is so smooth when you watch
Mm-hmm.
Olave, you're just like, ooh, it's smooth, bro. That's kind of like Tetairoa is.
Oh, look at that pronunciation. Oh, look at that nigga with
Oh,
pronunciation.
I was cutting my hair, pronouncing it in the mirrors. Tetairoa. Is he Samoan?
Yes,
Is he some
Polynesian.
Polynesian? Polynesian?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was born in Hawaii, and then he went to I think I don't know if his family moved here, but when I say here, sorry, I mean California. He went to high school in Anaheim,
Oh, okay.
like in Orange County.
Man, you don't see many Polynesian wide receivers. Well, no, I take that back.
Puka.
Yeah, Puka, yeah, okay, never mind.
I like how you said that, and then we named one, and then that was the end of the conversation, bro.
It's enough.
Shout out to Puka's brother who made that play for the Saints in the preseason for us.
Hey,
Who
I still remember.
weirdly enough, as many of our receivers got hurt this season, it was weird that they didn't bring him back.
Right. That was
Anyway,
weird.
sorry. We were talking about McMillan. Sorry.
But yeah, like smooth route runner. I loves the way he has a great feel for zones
Yes.
in the defense, kind of
Mm-hmm.
where to sit down, those comebacks, kind of those out routes and stuff like that. Good in the red zone, goes get the ball in the air, attach the ball. Just a good, and look, obviously from his stats, he's a productive player. I would see him as he would definitely be a productive player in the NFL. I don't think he would be somebody who would get kind of lost, 2, 3 catches a game. I think he's a guy who could catch 5, 6 catches a game and be kind of a productive player in the NFL.
So I'll bring up the graphic off and on as we record. I want to make sure I'm paying attention to the
Yeah.
chat. What his one of his biggest strengths to me, his hands are so
Hmm.
soft. He catches the ball with his hands, and he
Yep.
does not drop the ball. Like
Right.
it to me is one of his biggest strengths. Yes, his size is something that you just it just stands out. His size stands out, and it's something that the Saints needs. But when I watched him like a month and a half ago, and I was watching a lot of him today, I just kept watching like his hands.
Hmm.
He catches everything. The shit that we've seen with Jawan Johnson and Cedric Wilson this season. Tetairoa ain't dropping those balls. He ain't dropping
Oh
them.
my goodness.
He's not going to drop those. Um, I do feel like he does. I don't know how to word it. I feel like he does have like you said, like he's someone in the chat said he kind of like he glides like a gazelle a little bit.
Hmm.
I think that's a good app for him. He's a gamer.
Hmm.
The thing I struggle with him the most, is he does have a bit of a separation problem, and I try not to. When I watched him a month and a half ago, I was watching him, and sometimes when you like look at a mock draft and you see top 10 mock drafts over and over again before you've actually watched the player,
Yeah.
and then you watch the player and you like, okay, like yeah, okay, huh?
Yeah.
That's how I felt watching him.
Right.
It's where it's like okay, but like, huh? And it wasn't until I want to give Todd McShay some credit, and when he said it, it really, I think my concerns for him as a player, whether it be the Saints or not, just as a prospect, is he does struggle for how big he is. how he wins, it sometimes it's a little concerning,
Mm-hmm.
right? In terms of he doesn't have the quick twitch and speed to get
Right.
away from defensive backs.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that happens all the time, but it happens from time to time. And if that's happening in college and it's a problem, you go to the NFL and that problem's not going to go away,
Oh
right?
no.
So there's two players, and these are both good players. I am not taking anything away from either of these players. And it's funny because as prospects, I was not a fan of either of them were prospects. And I went back and I looked at their measurables of what their height and weight is before we started recording. I was like, makes completely fucking sense. Uh McShay said Drake London, which made sense. And when I was talking to our dude Dante about a month and a half ago, I said in some ways he reminds me of a kind of sometimes more explosive versions of like Cortland Sutton, like pre-injury of what he could be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before he had that, what was it, ACL or Achilles
Yeah.
injury that he had. That's what he could be. Like you see glimpses of that. But I remember when I watched Cortland Sutton as a prospect, I was like, I felt like Cortland Sutton was like running in like snow boots, and that's why I didn't want the Saints to touch him. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't stand him as a prospect. So then the question becomes: Drake London was drafted 8th overall.
Mm.
He didn't run a 40. I know he didn't run a 40 because he was coming off like a bad ankle injury,
Yep.
and part of that probably was embedded in it. And I typed it up, Ryan. I wanted to know. I said, what is Drake London's 40 time? You're not going to actually find it, but
Nope.
TJ Huchmanzado trained with him, and he said he believed like what he saw from training with him. Drake London was like a 4 or 5 guy ish,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That's
Cortland
just the
Sutton at
tape.
Cortland Sutton at the combine ran 4.5, right? Mike, to me, for McMillan, the combine, and I'm not a 40 time person. I am not a 40 time person 99% of the time. But with a player like McMillan, I feel like the 40 for him is crucial in
Mm.
terms of his speed with his size.
No, because the same question we have, and I completely agree. Watching him, like I was rewatching like all his targets from 2023 earlier today, and it's just noticeable that you rarely see him line up at X on the
No,
outside and
yeah,
beat man coverage, like just beat his guy. Like,
no,
hey, go out there and go win. Now, he did win a lot, but he's not gonna win just running past somebody.
no.
He's gonna do comeback routes. He's gonna do jerk, or he's gonna line up. He's gonna line up close to the line and break out, and go up, out and up type stuff. Or he's gonna body, try to moss a guy, gonna body up a DB and stuff like that.
He's good
That
on
was just how he wins.
good on drag routes, good on like deep crossers
Yeah.
or
Oh,
in
he's good on those
cutters.
crosses. Those
Ooh,
crosses
he's
are nice.
and right. Not again. I don't want to. I feel as a little. I'm not trying to be stereotypical when I say this, but it reminds me a little of like Puka because Puka's great
Yeah.
on those routes too, right?
Yep.
But when not, but he's great on those. It's just that, and if I'm his agent, do you run the 40?
I mean, did Roma Dunze run the 40 last year? I can't remember.
Yeah, he did.
He did. He did.
I can pull it up.
Mm. But
Uh,
I'm not saying he doesn't. He doesn't exactly remind me of Roma Dunze. But uh, Dunze had some of the same struggles, in the NFL where,
4.45.
huh, but when you watch his tape and then you saw him in the NFL, a lot of those same struggles popped up where the separation issue, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just one of those things like,
I, I feel like if you drafted McMillan, and I'm not saying this is not a valuable thing, and I'm not even saying maybe it's maybe not valuable at 9. Like maybe he could be like a souped up version of Marcus Colston.
That's what I was thinking. Like he reminded me a little bit of Marcus Costa a little bit, just watching him. Just the kind of the way he moved, the way he attacked the ball. And look, I mean, you don't want to get too caught up in like where like number 9 is. Like, oh, I wouldn't take that at number 9 because every draft is different. Like this,
Right. Yes.
if he
Yes.
came out last year, he would probably be a late first, early second round. He would go after Brian Thomas Jr. for sure. Now, will he go? Would
Yes.
he go before like Xavier? Xavier, what's his name? That went to the Chiefs.
Worthy.
Xavier, would he go before then? I don't know because then you start gauging like what type of receiver you want. Do you want a speed guy and stuff like that?
Right.
But
Right.
I think he would have went after, after Roma Dunze, obviously after Malik, after Brian Thomas. So he would have went like later if he
Mm-hmm.
came out last year. This year, it's just not as deep of great wide receivers. I mean,
Right.
there's a lot of wide receivers in this draft, but they're not like high level, oh man, I gotta draft this guy. You know what I'm saying? So he's gonna get pushed up a little bit, you know what I'm saying, for teams that's looking for wide receivers.
But it was
Um,
crazy, bro. I was seeing him like going like people had him in mocks going like 4, 5, 6.
well, it was funny you mentioned that because like I mean I've been hearing about him all year. It was like, oh, Arizona wide receiver, Arizona wide receiver. I'm like, man, I said at some point I'm gonna watch him. So finally when I watched him, I was just like you. I was like, huh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I mean, boy, good. But I was like, oh, I kind of expected more just from hearing him
Right.
constantly. Because this Arizona wide receiver, I thought it was going to kind of blow me away. Like when people told me to watch uh, Jamison Williams when he was coming out of Alabama.
Oh.
Like, you put that on, you're like, like, you know what I'm saying?
No, that's juice. That's
That's
juice.
juice. Like, oh, Malik and, wide
Even
receivers like,
even Olave, it's so funny because
oh, yeah.
like it just looks so easy with him, and it's like
No, you go back and listen to our episodes where we talk about Olave. It's like as soon as you put it, it's like, oh man, that's a saint right there, boy. Like just what we need right there.
our dude Jake said Burton's tape last year was better than T Max. I don't think. Listen, I've said that my hot draft take is that Luther Burton is a better receiver than T Mac. I think he's right receiver 1.
Hey,
That's my
save it for the prospect of the week. Luther
sorry.
Burton.
Sorry. But anyway, I apologize. Sorry. Yeah, Jake, getting me thrown out. We're talking about McMillan on this podcast right now. I apologize. That said, my argument for McMillan would be this. You take him at 9. Everyone falls kind of into place
Yes.
in the wide receiver room.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got the 6'5", 6'4" guy. Olave and Shaheed, you got your speedsters who can win. You know they can win with separation. You know Shaheed can get. You know
Yep.
Shaheed is your deep shot. You know Olave could be short, intermediate, and then you have your 50. And I'm not thinking of this just in terms of like, oh, what does Spencer Rattler need? This is just what does the team
Right.
need? A team building approach. But even with the Rattler thing, when the line started to get shaky and his mechanics got off, he had the tendency, his accuracy was to what? Throw the
Go
ball
high.
and throw high. We also saw that with who? Cam Newton. What did the Carolina Panthers do? They went out and got Kelvin Benjamin. So when his
Yep.
accuracy was off, guess what? You have a 50-50 guy that could go up, boom, get the ball,
The ball.
make plays. Who did Spencer Rattler have a great rapport with at South Carolina? Xavier Legette, a
Yep.
big-bodied receiver that he had trust in, that if I'm throwing that ball up, if you're one-on-one coverage, I'm trusting you to use your size to go up and get that ball. I'm going to put it in a place where only you, for the most part, is going to be able to get that ball. There's no one on the Saints roster that can do that.
And who do you like throwing to with the Saints? MVS and Foster Moreau.
And Jawan,
And
and
Jawan,
Jawan,
yeah.
he did
He
though.
did. Like he did. Like you saw like the best of Jawan come out toward the end of the season, which kind of typically happens. But anyway, it's an asset, not just to Spencer, but like any quarterback,
Anybody,
especially young
anybody.
quarterbacks.
Yes,
Like you
yes.
Drew loved it with Colston because, he could just put it up there. You know what I'm saying? Put it up there and Colston was going to go and get it. So then after that, you just get caught up in value. Like,
Yes.
where's the draft value? Is that the type of value you want to get at 9? You know what I'm saying? And look, that's the argument that's going to have there. I do wonder, like, how would he fit into the Jeff Ireland
Mm.
bubble of, the prototype metrics, and all
Oh,
that stuff? I do wonder, like, where would he fit in? Because I do think he would be in the metrics. You know what I'm saying? I do think.
yeah, because all
But
we really have to go on right now is just height and weight,
right.
because that's all we have from him right now.
And look, I mean, Jeff Ireland did have Michael Thomas rated real high. You know what I'm saying?
Sure
They took
did.
him in the second round, but they had a high value on him.
Here's
Um,
here is something I feel with McMillan. And I'm not saying it's a detriment. I'm not saying he's bad at it. It's not his like biggest strength. And Sean Payton is no longer with the team, obviously. But I know if he was, I would probably guess that McMillan would probably not be he would not be their number one over ranked receiver, because Sean Payton emphasizes route running. Route running. He even came out and said it. Like in the draft, they had Devontae Smith over Jamar Chase strictly because
yep.
Devontae Smith was just a better route runner than Jamar Chase. It was dumb, but like
Yeah.
when you like what you like what you like, right? Like that's in life. That's a lot.
And that's with me too. Like I'm partial to really great route running prospects, and
I am too,
it
bro.
catches me sometimes. That's why I kind of missed on Brian Thomas Jr. last year.
He wasn't a
This
great route runner though, right?
He wasn't like I just love great route runners because they translate. They like Lad McConkey. Like you see those dudes in college that who are really good at running routes, they typically get to the NFL and are productive. You know what I'm saying? Where it's kind of 50-50 with the guys that, don't really run good routes.
Right, like a
Quentin Johnson.
DK Metcalf, like those
Hmm.
players like that. It's kind of a here's something that when I was doing my research on McMillan, that was a big concern for me. Let's see if I can pull this up right. Okay, okay. So these are his his game stats from the
Hmm.
season. This is what I don't like to see, Ryan.
Hmm.
Okay, so
I know where you're going.
the first game he went off for 10 catches, 304 yards, whatever, right? Just crazy and insane game against New Mexico. It hits. I get it. Everyone plays with most players play with shitty. Most receivers play with shitty quarterbacks in college, unless
Yep.
they're at Alabama, whatever, LSU, blah blah. Most of the time, you're just gonna play with a shitty quarterback. It's just the
Yep.
name of the game. Okay. Next game, he follows it up with a 2-catch, 11-yard game, bro.
Against who? Who is that? NAU?
In a U.
No. NAU. Nebraska.
No, that's not.
North. North. North.
North Alliance University. I don't know. I don't know what NAU is. Okay, but the next game against Kansas State
Love
goes for
catches.
11 catches, 138 yards. Then against Utah, top 10 team, 6 for 50. Bounces back against
TTU.
Texas Tech, 8 for 161. Then 5 for 78 against Colorado, 5 for 38.
Ooh, I watched that. I watched all his targets versus Colorado against Travis Hunter.
Now, and
Mm.
if Travis Hunter, who and you 6'5" or 6 whatever, and Travis Hunter is,
Just
I'm
just wasn't getting open. Like Hunter had him blanketed, bro. That
West
was the first
Virginia,
thing I wrote down.
West Virginia, 10 for 10 catches, 202 yards.
Mm.
University of Central Florida, 6 catches, 84 yards. Houston, 6 catches, 70 yards. TCU, 9 catches, 115 yards. Then Arizona State, 6 catches, 68 yards, 1 touchdown. But like this right here to me, just like as a wide receiver prospect, you're supposed to go top 10. You're supposed to be wide receiver 1 in the draft. If I'm a team, I'm in like that right here, this 2 for 11, 6 for, and I feel kind of weird talking about prospects like this. I'm a grown ass man talking about like a kid, but this is what we do
Yeah.
for content. Like, sorry,
Yeah.
gotta get paid, McMillan. I apologize, bro. I apologize. I'm sorry. But 2 for 11, 6 for 15, like it. I don't know, bro. Like I didn't. I kind of had like a blank slate, but then I saw that and I was like, ooh.
There are concerns. There are concerns. He's not a clean prospect. Not a clean prospect, man. There are questions. There are questions. And it's also one of the things where it's like, man, if Drew Brees was quarterback, and I'd be like, okay, Drew Brees, he gonna cook with Drew. You know what I'm saying? But in a offense that's like trying to put it together, trying to figure out quarterback, it's like, would he elevate the offense, or does he need an offense to elevate him? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know.
I feel like for him is more of the latter. Uh, but here's a question I would ask you. Okay, I asked you if you had juice. That's a question we always ask from these series that I'm asking you. That next question I'm asking you: do you have to squint with McMillan? And then I'm going to give you the scale question. Right, I gave you the scale question with Mikael Williams. I'll give you the scale question with McMillan if you say you have to squint.
I don't have to squint. I kind of know what he is. Like when I watch him, I know exactly what he is. Um, you do wonder, like I said just a minute ago, like will he elevate offense? Those are the things you do wonder. But as far as like what type of player he is, I don't have to squint. Like I know, I'm pretty sure he will be a good, productive wide receiver in the NFL.
It's
It's
like
just,
you describing him to me is exactly like you described Drake London to me.
yeah,
We have the same conversation,
same
bro.
thing, same
Like
thing. Like
you said,
like productive.
productive NFL receiver.
That's it. That's it. And I like Drake London. I just at that time I was like, I wouldn't take him in the top 10, and here we are. It's like,
Well.
well,
Both have,
I'm
and
telling you.
when I watched his tape, I just kept thinking, I was like, there's not a team that's going to draft him before us. I can't see it, bro. I cannot. Watching his tape, seeing that production, unless he goes out in Indy and like runs like a 4.4 or something insane, bro, I cannot see maybe the Raiders. But even then, that just wouldn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
It from a team building perspective, it wouldn't make sense. I and Saints fans, if you would have told Saints fans this at the beginning of the season, it would have felt like it was like a pipe dream.
Oh
I
yeah.
have in my heart, in my head, he's probably going to be sitting there at 9.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be sitting there at 9.
Mark asked,
Wait,
"Would anyone be surprised if he ends up as a tight end?" Yes, because he's not bulky. He doesn't have that.
no,
He's not built like that. He's
just
not built
not
like that.
now. Yeah, he's gonna be there, bro. He's gonna be sitting there at 9. The
Yep.
question is with who? Is he gonna be sitting there with Genty? Is he gonna sit there with Genty? Is he gonna be sitting there with, like a Will Johnson or you know, Mikael Williams?
Okay. Thank you for saying that, because this is what I'm going to be doing, keeping a running tally. Okay. So we did our prospect breakdown with Mikael Williams. Now we're doing it for Tetairoa McMillan. If both of them are on the board, Mikael, Tetairoa, who's in the picture be?
Out of Mikael and Tet and
Just
Genty.
those two. Just nope,
Genty
not Genty.
gone.
No, we're not putting Genty in it because I'm just doing it with just the prospect we've talked about in the series just now.
No.
Them two
That's a
right
that's
now.
a that's a tough one, bro. Because they both got holes in their game, but both, I could also see both impacting the team positively. Um, man, I probably would go Tetairoa over Mikael. Just, man, we need some offense, bro. Like I just finished watching that Washington versus Tampa Bay Bucks game.
Mm-hmm.
We need some dudes that can go out and get it,
Yep.
bro. Go out and
Yep.
win balls. Everything so everything with our offense is just so schemed up and so, you know, everything had to be precise with
Yes.
our offense. And I think a player like Tetairoa could just give you a playmaker, man, like
And
somebody that could go
and
and make some
a
plays.
little error for like a little slot, it would allow some margin of error,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
So I asked you if you had to squint with McMillan. I felt like I had to squint a little bit with him,
Hmm.
like not a whole bunch. Not if Peyton Turner's a 10 on how much we had to squint. With McMillan, I squinted probably like a 3, right? Not a whole bunch, but like a little squint.
Yeah.
To your point, though, I agree with you, and I know, I know, like we've got like feels like we kind of came at him like hard, like we feel like maybe we're like
That's what
maybe
this for.
naysayers on this little breakdown. But if I were to tell you this, if the Saints could draft their own version of Drake London or Cortland Sutton, I think prime Cortland Sutton would be like the best version of Tetairoa reaching his potential, right? But let's say Drake London, like current version of Drake London. Is I mean, apparently the Falcons thought it was worth that at 8, but would you feel that would be worth that at 9?
I'm gonna have to see the board, man. But
Yeah.
it's, it's instinctually I would say no. Instinctually I would say no. Like if you just told me throw everything out, here's the tape. Is this a top 10 draft prospect? No, I would say no. You know what I'm
He's
saying?
because to me he's not a top 10, like I feel like he's not a top 10 talent.
Right.
Does that mean that I would be upset if if the Saints drafted him at 9? Absolutely not. But that Drake, like I keep like, if you could just throw in a version of Drake London on this version of the Saints team with the weapons that they already have, that's a valuable piece to the offense.
Yeah, no
It's an
question.
extremely valuable piece to the offense, and I don't think it's something that should be poo-pooed. But like to your point, I got like who else is there? That's that
That's
that that that's the thing.
right. Put it like this: he would be if I had a cloud, he would be at the bottom of the cloud. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Okay, I got you. Yeah, yeah,
depending
yeah.
who's there.
Yeah, like it's
Like
like Mason, Mason Graham, Will Johnson, Abdul Carter, those are like Travis
JT,
Hunter, and then as you like, oh well, he's here.
and take a call. Can I trade down? No, nobody answering. It's like, eh, go with that. And it's not like a bad pick. It's just like
No,
it's,
Dante said this. I'll say, and Dante pulled a me. He said, I'll say this: Rattler, Tat, Shaheed, Olave is a nice young passing game nucleus.
it is.
It
No
is.
question about it. No question. And it like just the chips falling into place like Tetris just makes
Mm-hmm.
everything kind of make
Mm-hmm.
sense. You know what I'm saying?
Because
And then
in
maybe go
you could get
good
you get a running back in the later rounds. You get a
tight end.
tight end cooking with something offensively.
Yeah, now you got okay. Now you got a little offense. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Now you're just like okay, one player goes down and you cooked. No, now you got an offense to work with. You got different dynamics to your offense, different dimensions to your offense and stuff like that, where you could win different ways. That's the thing about the NFL, man. Like you got to every game you go into, the great coaches go into every game is like, how do I win this game
right.
today, this Sunday? Because you're not going to win every game the same way. Of course, every team wants to run the ball, play great defense, and get explosive plays. Every team wants to do that. But you can't do that every game. So every game you has to figure out strategic and tactical ways to win. And having a multifaceted wide receiver core gives you that identity.
Absolutely.
Maybe one game we're going to win with explosive plays with Shaheed, deep balls, Olave and this and that. Maybe in one other games you got a death by 1,000 cuts. Moving down the field. Maybe that's a
Mm-hmm.
Tetairoa game. Maybe another game is the run game, a tight end game. You got to find different ways to win. Right now, the Saints have only had really one way to win: running the ball, deep shots to Olave. That's it. When we were healthy, at best.
Shaheed.
Yeah, that's it.
And like Taysom when you say
Yeah,
like running the ball.
Taysom. Yeah, Taysom. Yeah.
A 35-year-old Taysom.
And if that didn't work, we shit out of luck. We ain't winning. You know what I'm saying? No chance.
Cooked. Jake said Tyler Warren to replace Taysom. I just want to give one. I know we're finalizing the Tetairoa. I like Tyler Warren. I do. I like him a lot. I like him as a player. I don't know. I don't see a way he goes in round one.
Yeah.
I don't like people.
Maybe late. Maybe late round one.
I can see like the Chiefs maybe, but like when I watch him, even of all the plays he make, he does not scream like a first round talent to me. That is a quintessential top of round two, middle round two type of
right. Like where did what you call him go? The Lions tight end.
Sam Laporta?
Yeah, he went top of the second.
Yeah, a couple of picks before us. He was in the Saints like top of the bubble for round two.
And he was an awesome prospect. So it's like, that's that range. You know what I'm saying? Like late first, early second for Ty Warren. And they got some tight ends in this draft, bro. Like he's not the only one. They got some good tight ends. And I like Tyler Warren a lot. Like I would love him on the Saints. But I just like early first half of first round type.
Calm down, people. Tyler Warren. Brock said, "I can't take McMillan because I don't know if we can use him. Tet fits into what we have." Listen, I get it, bro. Like, because here's the thing with McMillan. The McMillan thing, I could just see him going into another team and just blossoming, just becoming like a defensive force. And had he potentially came to the Saints, it would have been a situation where, I don't know. It's all so predicated on who the head coach is, who the defensive head coach is.
Right.
All this stuff we just don't have the answers to right now.
Right. Tetairoa, I think, is more scheme versatile. You know what I'm saying? I think he would be fine in pretty much any scheme. He would be great. Mentioned Puka, he would be great in that type of scheme with McVay with those tight splits. How they all line up closely and break, kind of break out.
Yeah.
I think he would be great in a scheme like that. But I think he'd be fine in either scheme. It's just the type of wide receiver he is.
Jake said Tetairoa had 2 different schemes in 2 years. Good to know.
Interesting.
Oh, Bunt said Northern Arizona University, home of Saints legend Emmanuel Butler.
Only Butch would do
that. Joe Brady and Tetairoa would be solid. Could be.
Hey, man, our future HCs was cooking today, boy. Cliff, Brady,
Cohen, nigga, all of them.
I'm like, shit, bring them in.
I'll believe either 3 would be our future head coach when an actual fucking interview takes place.
Can we get a schedule, please? Anybody? We talking about a Zoom here now. We ain't talking about it in person.
Can the nigga send a Teams invite? A Teams invite.
A Zoom link, something.
Saints head coach interview. Cliff.Kingsbury at commanders.nfl.com.
Sit. Oh, we need it.
Send, nigga. Like,
no, you got the decline on it. Decline. I won't be there.
I know that's what Mike Vrabel did. Soon. This nigga hit that multiple times. Dante said, "But that presser tomorrow, huh? Yeah, I guess maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Like Zach Bond out here getting interceptions in playoff games, and we got
of course, man. Of course,
and we potentially got to listen to fucking Mickey Loomis talk tomorrow. This is what we got to deal with. Okay, all right. Anyway, we hope y'all appreciated that. We went a little over.
Yeah.
it was fun talking Tetairoa McMillan.
Yeah, man.
And I know we probably came across, but I just felt like it was good to have an honest conversation about him, kind of
Yeah.
away from like the fandom, because
Yeah.
I just feel like if you just go to Twitter, it's like, oh my god, like he's the best thing
Yeah.
since like red, like you just got
Right,
to
right, right.
draft Tetairoa. And
No,
this is
this
not, and I'm
and I
not saying
wanted
that
this to be similar. Yeah, go ahead.
you and I don't know everything. We just
No.
watch tape and we have opinions, and sometimes we were very wrong. We were wrong on Brian Thomas Jr. last year, very recently.
Yeah.
We saw the talent, but we had our concerns. The drops, the limited route tree, like
Yep.
whatever. Shit happens. One thing I am very hopeful to do, and we're able to pull off, is that as the draft gets a little closer, have another podcast episode or do Matt Harmon, have him come on,
Mm-hmm.
talk about, because this wide receiver draft class, I just want to, ain't no one better to talk about wide receivers, period, than Matt Harmon.
That's
Period.
it. That's all he do.
So, would love to get his opinions on like Luther Burton, Tetairoa and things like that. So hopefully we can pull that off before the draft this upcoming season, or this upcoming off season. Anyway, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. If you didn't catch the entire episode, it's going to be posted to YouTube for YouTube members only. The audio and high definition, high quality video is going to be posted to our Patreon first thing in the morning. So that's it. We would take Tetairoa at 9, but we also have to ask who else is on the board at 9. And as of right now, I'm just gonna keep doing this thing where we just keep stacking players. As of right now, we both would take Tetairoa over Mikael Williams. Right now, we'll see what happens when we talk about the next prospect next week. We love y'all, appreciate y'all. We'll be back on Wednesday night, just our regular podcast episode. With that, we're out.
Peace.